Hello, hello. Welcome back to Slay the Gray. My name's Sam, and today I'm going to be finishing up painting this Space Marine Lieutenant from Leviathan. So I started this last week, and I am finishing him up this week, and yeah. Like I said, my name is Sam. This is Big Nerds Wargaming. I do painting every Monday evening from 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Usually about an hour and a half or so, 2 hours, and I paint minis. The channel also has a bunch of other content, battle reports, hobby crafting videos, anything wargaming related. So check that out. Okay. So, yeah, so we're going to pick up where we left off last week. We did the power armor, we did some detail on the knife, and also on the Tyrannid carapace. So we're going to finish up by doing some of the details on this guy. So I'm going to start with painting the these knife sheaths on the back. I'm thinking I'm going to do those in a very dark gray. So I will start with something really dark like Mechanicus Standard, I think. We'll go from there. Try to find a brush that's got a good point. I have two of these brushes. I think this one's my better of the two. I could be very wrong. Nope, that's the worst one. I had the right one from the start. I never throw away old brushes, so sometimes it's hard to find the good one. I always find a useful old brushes. Okay. So I'll get some of that on my palette, thin it out. And we're just going to try to paint the inner part of that sheath Mechanicus Standard gray. And we're going to try to not get it on those leather straps that I painted black earlier. So at the top and the bottom, there's like these metal pieces. I'm going to do those in, I think, lead belcher for some metallic details. So I'm not going to worry about painting those right now. See if I can thread the needle here. Just get some gray on that. Also, trying not to get any gray on any of that power armor. Those nice highlights that we did last week. Alright, that's looking good for now. So I think I'm going to start doing some lead belcher details. So we got this gun, the flamer. So I think I'm going to do the canister in like a yellow. And lead belcher on parts of the gun. The gun casing I'll do in black. Lead belcher on the front, and I'll do like a heat effect on that. That'll look pretty cool. Yeah, so let's jump right into that. Let me grab some lead belcher over here. I'll have to give this a good shake. This is a newer lead belcher. I didn't put any mixing balls in it yet, but be able to give it a good shake and mix it up well. Just refocusing the camera there. Oops. Lid closed on me. Get some lead belcher on my palette. Get some water, mix that in there. I have some old lead belcher on here. I'm trying to rehydrate it a little bit. These wet pellets, did some painting the other day, and I never cleaned it up because I knew I was going to be painting this evening, so figured I'd make use of the palette. Alright, so let's start on the power pack. So, you'll recall last week we did gory details on the knife. If I can get this to focus. Come on, there we go. Some Tyranid blood on the knife. It's turning out pretty good. So on all my Space Marines, I paint the center circle part on the power pack. I always do that in the metallic silver, so make that the lead belcher color so it'll fit in the rest of my army. Just gonna carefully get around there. And then I do the exhaust vents on the power pack. Paint those lead belcher as well. And then there's these little vents, these 4 vents here. I always paint those metal as well. So just paint those real quick. And quick rinse off my brush. Now for the gun. Do lead belcher down by the handle. This back piece right here. Keep the handle itself black. I'll paint this canister silver for now. I'll probably go back and give that a different color. There's this metal tube. I'll paint that lead belcher. We got some kind of under parts of the gun casing. Paint that silver. I think it'd be really cool if I did maybe some caution stripes on the gun. Since this is a combi weapon, I think that would look pretty cool. Maybe I'll do caution stripes, but I'll make the canister on the flamer. Maybe I'll make that red instead. Just so there's not too much, yellow going on. I think I like that idea, so I'll do that. And then on the front, I'm going to do that silver as well. Add a nice heat effect there. Pretty easy to do, so I'll walk through that process. Scorched metal. And, of course, the tip of the gun. I also like to do the sights. And this accessory bar on top. And we'll just get the underside of that gun, even though this won't be really super visible once it's on the model. But for completeness, we'll paint this too. Just so any bit that you can see will be fully painted and it'll look nice. We got some of this on the back of the gun. So paint that up real quick. Alright. Details in there. Okay. So we got the lead belcher laid down on the power pack and on the gun. And now it's time to do the same for some of these other details on the Marine himself. He's got some grenades. I'm actually going to grab some more lead belcher So he's got some grenades. He's got the big ammo case for his gun. So we'll be sure to paint that. Also some details on his helmet. So I'm actually going to move to a smaller size brush in just a second. I'll just use the standard size one for one piece, which is going to be his big ammo pouch in the back here. So this we're just going to do in lead belcher real quick. Since I got the big brush out, we'll paint that up real quick, and then I'll move on to a smaller one for some of these other details. And I think he should come together pretty quickly. So if I finish this up, maybe I'll grab something else that's sitting on my desk and continue on working on that just for a little bit. Or maybe we'll call the stream a little shorter today, but we'll see when we get there what I'm feeling. So, alright, so that base coat is all laid down on there. Now I'm going to move to a smaller brush for, so he's got like this antenna, he's got a knife, grenades, some decoration pieces on the knife sheaths, so we'll paint those too. Alright. So coming in, we'll get these knife sheaths real quick. Let's get some lead belcher down here. Now normally I do this in gold, but because he's wearing the Phobos armor, I thought I'd give him more of the stealthy look. He'll still have some gold on him because he is, was it the 13th company? It's the gold one, or yellow, for Space Marine, Ultramarines. So that's the company he's a part of. But just kind of give him an overall stealthier look because he is in the stealthy Phobos armor. Alright, so not perfect under there, but no one's going to really see that, so I'm not going to worry about it. We'll move on. We have these top pieces on the sheaths. I'll just paint those real quick. There we go. And then we'll move on to the grenades next. I'm just going to add a little bit of water to my palette mixture here. So get a little bit more control with the paint. And I'm just going to paint these grenades. It's got different kinds of grenades, it looks like. Maybe like a smoke grenade, a frag grenade. Maybe one of these is a crack grenade. Crack is whack. And we're gonna give these a nice healthy bath in Nuln oil afterwards, so it'll help kind of fill in the gaps and bring it all together. Got some straps on the gun here that's going around. The gun's going to attach to this, so I'm just going to paint the strap metal pieces silver, the lead belcher, and that'll look nice. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to some of the details on the helmet. So we've got these breather tubes. I'm going to paint those silver. Give those a nice washing. these bleeder tubes ever so carefully. Get in there. And the antenna itself, I'll paint that silver. The antenna that I broke off and had to redo like 4 times. That's just how it goes sometimes. Oh, got some blue still showing under here, so I'll get that on the grenade. We got this combat knife. We'll paint that silver as well. Very carefully. I'm gonna have to pull back a little bit. A little bit more comfortable position for me. It's a little awkward with the camera sometimes. Getting it just right so that you can see as the audience and so I can see what I'm doing as a painter. But I think this is a happy medium right here. Need it a little bit closer so I can see what I'm doing. It's a challenging thing painting with a camera sometimes. It's not the most natural of postures. Just with the camera in the way. But that's why we're here. I'm gonna get down in there, paint the handle, holding it. Okay. Too bad, not too bad. So next, I think I'm going to go in with gold. Just paint those gold details. So we got the trim on the shoulder, and it's going to have a little emblem on his belt. It's going to be painted gold. Maybe pull back even more. That. That's a bit better. Yeah. I could paint like this. This is pretty comfortable. Alright, so we're gonna do Retributor Armor Base. Metallic gold paint Citadel. I'm gonna get a little bit of this on the palette. My brush, it's got a nice tip to it. He doesn't have much gold, so I'm not gonna need a whole lot of gold on my palette. But just enough, and then I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of water. Just to thin it out just a little bit. Give me a little bit more control. And then come in here. So he's got this skull attached to his belt. So just paint that. Right next to a Tyranid Claw Talon trophy of his. I guess we'll allow it. And he's got his emblem up here on his chest. Also paint gold. Very carefully, not trying not to get too much overspill. And then he's just got his shoulder pauldron trim. So we can paint that up pretty quickly, carefully as well. Come this far, don't want to screw it up now. This covers pretty well. I may not need to do a second coat, but we'll see. I'm going to try to keep it nice and clean. So as I go in for more paint, I'm twisting my brush to reform the tip. That helps. Helps quite a bit. So we're going to get the underside of this panel, the pauldron, on this trim. I'm just going to wash my brush off real quick. Underside of this trim going around the pauldron. Alright, so I can see some spots where it looks like the gold is a little thin, so I'm just going to go in there and make sure nicely covered all around and there's no blue showing from underneath. Yeah, so coming up around this ridge here. See some blue under there, so I'm gonna make sure we get that nice and covered. Oh, it looks like I got some on the blue pauldron itself. So I'm going to just try to fix that with some water real quick. Some metallic paint. It dries a little slower, so sometimes you can wick it away with some water and fix your mistakes. Like I'm doing right here. There we go. That is an acceptable amount. And I'm noticing that the line here on this part is a little sloppy, so we're just going to try to clean it up a bit and just get this whole piece of trim up to where it meets the pauldron painted. A little tedious work, but it'll pay off in the end. There we go. Okay, so we have the... Oh, I see some gold on these knife sheaths. So I'm going to paint those real quick. Or little skulls, I should say, that need to be gold. There we go. Much better. Okay, so now next I'm going to paint... I'm actually going to bring in some lead belcher. But actually, before I do that, we're going to paint the canister on the combi flamer red. So I have some Mephistone red on my palette. Just going to kind of rehydrate it a little bit with some water. This paint covers really well, and this will work nicely. Nice strong pigment, right shade of red. So I'm just going to get the sides of the canister. The top and the bottom I'll leave silver. So almost like it's got a red label on it. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to bring out the Nuln Oil and darken up that metal. Make it look real nice. Here's my Nuln Oil. Give that a good shake. And we'll find a junky brush. Maybe this one. Another reason to save old brushes, they're great for applying washes, because washes can be kind of hard on your brushes. So it's good to have some sacrificial old brushes available. So I'm going to give the grenades here a healthy dose of Nuln Oil. And these rebreather tubes on his helmet. The antenna. The entire sheath. I'm going to do that in Nuln Oil. Trying not to get it on those skulls I painted gold. I just want to darken this all up and kind of blend it into them. Get the underside there. And then we also have this ammo crate. Or ammo box on his belt. So we'll get that with Nuln Oil. And then we have this knife. So I'll get the knife handle up here. I'm going to avoid the blade because we did that with a... Actually, you know, it's not too purpley, so maybe I'll get the whole blade too. You know, some of this you make up as you go. Yeah, so we'll get this knife blade down here, stabbed into the neuraloid. And we'll get the knife blade that he's holding. Darken that up. Can always go back and add some metallic highlights there and make the edge nice and sharp looking. We'll see. We'll see how we're feeling. Alright, and then on the gun, I'm just gonna Nuln Oil this up as well. So everywhere down here where the flames come out, pretty much anywhere I painted lead belcher, gonna get the Nuln Oil treatment. Such a simple step, and it makes everything look so good. Never leave metallics unwashed. It's a motto I live by. Just gonna get the underside of this gun here. And then we got the metal details on the power pack. So we'll get these exhaust vents. There we go. Super easy. Nuln Oil everywhere. So I'm wondering what to do next. We have some Nuln Oil drying, so I can't really do the gun details. So maybe I'll move on to the pouches. I should also wash the metal color real quick. For that, I'm just going to use Reichland Flesh Shade. This is a great color to use on gold. It makes it nice and warm. It just adds, you know, interest and variation in the color. So, Seraphim Sepia is another good color to use for gold. That's a little bit more on the sepia side, where this is going to be a little bit more on the orangish brown side. There we go. That's looking good. Just gonna get a little bit more center emblem. There we go. And then we got a little bit on the knife pouches, so just a little touch of that. Okay. Now next I'm gonna do the pouches. So we have black leather pouches. So I'm gonna do some highlighting on those with, I think, Mechanicus Standard Gray for starters, and maybe I'll go a little bit lighter, but we'll see. So I'm gonna grab a size 0 brush. It's just a cheap Amazon brush I found in my stocking this year from my wife. So they actually work pretty great for edge highlighting. So thank you, Avery, if you're watching. So we're gonna come in here and very carefully get the edges on these pouches. And the paint is pretty thin on my palette, and I find that thin paint you have better control over, especially when you're doing things like edge highlighting. It also doesn't come out too thick and opaque, and you end up with these really fat looking highlight lines. It's just something that takes a little bit of practice, but the more you do it, the more you feel comfortable with doing so, and you have some great looking stuff. So we have this strap going down the center. I want to try to edge highlight, although it looks like it could use a little bit more Abaddon black, actually, because I see that it's a little blue on the side, so maybe I'll come back to that. So we have these other pouches on the side here, so we'll edge highlight those real quick in Mechanicus Standard Gray. Get those details real quick. I noticed that I didn't actually highlight this talon, so I'm gonna also just hit that real quick with some gray. Get the side here of this pouch. There we go. Yeah, those are actually looking pretty good. I don't think they need any other highlights. I think just that one gray pass is probably gonna be sufficient. Okay, so I mentioned Abaddon Black earlier, and I think we need to touch up the gun for sure, and some of this leather strap, the leather strap going across his chest. So, let's do that real quick. Drink of water. Okay, Abaddon Black. Just gonna do some touching and cleaning up here. I use the same small brush just because it's gonna be a little bit of precision work, and it's already in my hand, so let's use it. Okay, I'm gonna mix a little bit of water in that black so it flows nicely, and along the top of this strap, just gonna clean up this leather strap a bit. It's a little ambiguous where the strap and the armor starts, so just wanted to clean that up. Make it a little bit more clear what's going on here. Yeah, right in there. Okay. That's looking much better. And then over here on the combi weapon, just going to clean up the casing of the gun. So we don't want that to be silver, we want that to be black. give that a nice, you know, second coat here of black, fixing the areas where he spilled over when painting the lead belcher, and a little bit on the handle, and on the back side of the gun. Just gonna clean that up a little bit. This won't be really seen because it's gonna be on the back side, but any areas we can get to, I'll try to clean up. So if you do end up seeing any of it, it'll look correct and not messy. That's why we do sub-assemblies anyways, right? Okay. So I think I'm going to do some caution stripes on the gun. I think that's going to look really cool because it's a combi weapon, it's a flamethrower. So for that, I'm going to use Everland Sunset. It's a nice muted yellow, kind of almost like a safety yellow, but not too loud and obnoxious. And it's got a nice strong pigment, so it is a base color, so that means it usually will cover nicely. So I like to use this color for caution stripes. And then maybe after I get this laid down, I'll go over it again with some Uriel yellow, just to brighten it up a little bit. So just gonna get some of this on my palette. The Everland Sunset. Once again, I'm still using this size 0 brush. Nice fine pointed brush. Great for this kind of thing. So for the caution stripes, we're going to try to do them at a 45-degree angle. And I'm going to make them roughly, maybe a little, about the width of a brush. Maybe 2 brush strokes. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe about that wide. Trying very hard to keep them straight lines. Alright, we got one. It's one stripe. So coming in for another stripe. Let's get this third stripe in here. And I could probably fit another one back here, so let's do it. Oh no, I came in on caution stripes. Watch out, you sure did. I like it. Maybe I should start an Iron Warriors army. They are the Caution Stripe army after all. Alright, so now... Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna actually weather that a little bit with some lead belcher. I'm gonna find a small brush. Oh, maybe I'll use the same small brush again. Just gonna chip the paint a little bit. Those are quite good. I am impressed. Mine come out looking like a bunch of sickly worms. Yeah, sickly worms. Just gonna chip some metal on there. And go in there with some Abaddon Black as well. Weather it up a little bit. Well, I have definitely made some caution stripes that look like sickly worms. That is for sure. Alright, so for the heat effect, we're going to do a couple things. You can usually accomplish this with just the 3 shades. We have Druchii Violet, Drakenhof Nightshade, and Agrax Earthshade. And it usually goes brown, purple, blue. I'm doubting myself now. Hang on, let me pull up my Infernus Marines. Because I did those quite well for the heat effect. I like the way those turned out. I'd hate to screw up on stream the heat effect. Stand by. Infernus Marines. Infernus Marines. Where are you? Brown, purple, blue makes sense color-wise. Yeah. I believe you are right. Brown, purple, blue. But that's why it's good to have reference. Reference helps a lot. As I say, struggling to find my reference. I know where they are now. Hang on. I'll find them. I'll find them. Stand by. Terminators. Dreadnought. And Infernus Marines. That's a captain. I shared it on one of my Discords. I'm trying to find that picture. Yes. Brown, purple, blue. Brown, purple, blue. Bacon. Is that a bacon emoji? Alright, so I'll do the blue. Blue at the tip. Earn the bacon. Thank you for the bacon. So I do some blue at the tip here. Then we'll go right into the purple. Purple at the mid section tip. The purple's a little more subtle, so I'm going to try to... I'll get most of this purple, and then the brown will kind of blend it together at the back. But this is already looking pretty good. I'm liking that. Does he have too much going on with this gun? He's got the caution stripes, he's got the flamethrower. Is it just a little too extra? I don't know. Just gonna dry this shade real quick with the hairdryer. Working just fine, sir. Thank you. Just fine is alright. And the Agrax Earth Shade at the very end. There you go, heat effect. All with shades, no crazy wet blending with other paints and... Pretty easy to do. There you go. I see there's a pouch on the gun, so I can quickly highlight that pouch with Mechanicus Standard Gray before moving on. Alright, so next I'm gonna go with a different gray, Dawnstone, to highlight the gun casing. And then, I think, I just need to highlight the metal, the gold. I think you might be ready to finish up the base, and we can start putting them together and maybe call this done very shortly. Could also slap on the decal lime at it. Better just get those done right away. Alright, so we're going to do some edge highlighting on the gun casing. Using Dawnstone for this. Very carefully. Also act as a nice termination for the caution stripes pattern. The clean line. And we'll get the handle while we're at it. It's got edges, so we'll highlight them. There we go. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. I did not drill the barrel out of this gun. I know it's bad on me, but I will paint it black. There. Now it looks like it's been drilled out. I've redeemed myself. Okay, so now, oh yes, the metal, the gold. So for that, we have some Retributor armor on my palette I'm going to use already, but I'm going to mix that with Stormhost Silver. About 50-50. I don't drill my barrels either. Yeah, I do sometimes. Depends on if I happen to have it like out while I'm building and I'm feeling extra, you know, extra credit-y, then I'll drill, but I usually don't as well. I can't be bothered most of the time. It's just as easy to just paint the tip black if it's really, you know, bothering me. But I know some people like swear by it. Always drill your barrels, blah blah blah. Alright, so this is a 50-50 mixture of Retributor armor and Stormhost silver. And this I use to highlight some spots on the gold details. Kind of makes it look like light is shining off and reflecting, and it's like shiny gold. Get a little bit here. We'll get the edge here on his pauldrons. Just kind of breaks up that samey, boring gold color. It's not that boring, but it's the same color. Alright, oh, he's got this hose coming out of here. Let's paint that black. Why not? Power cable, hose, whatever you want to call it. We'll paint that black. Not gonna lie, I would really enjoy getting my butt kicked. Such a fine looking army. Oh, thank you. This army doesn't win much. I don't like actively collect Space Marines sometimes. It's pretty much like what you get in combo boxes or starter sets, or some things I find on the second-hand shelf that are just too good of a deal to pass up. So this little screen here. Oh, I guess I have made a couple of strategic purchases with Space Marines, but yeah, I'm building a big enough a collection where I can start to build some decent armies with them, but they're definitely not my most competitive. But I guess it all depends on who you play. So I'm going to paint this little screen green on his arm. I have some Warpstone glow on my palette from what I was painting the other day, which there is a new video coming out at the end of this week where I do some painting in there, and if you watch it, you'll see what I use that Warpstone glow for. A little teaser. Alright, then we got some red. I'll just do some red buttons here. I like red buttons. And then he's got the thing on his head. I forgot what they're called. I'm just going to do that with Lead Belcher. The stud that goes on their heads. Do you remember what they're called? I played against Tyranids. Yeah, Sisters are my primary army. I played against Tyranids this weekend. How did that go? How many points was it? Who won? How did it end? Just gonna throw some highlights on this sheath here. Yeah, Tyranids though, they're my main jam. I do love me some bugs. Okay. I'm gonna finish up the base here. So, I think, yes, I did not glue him down, so I will pop him off real quick so I can get to the base. I already have my base mixture on my palette too, so that's pretty convenient. This is a mixture of Bugman's Glow and Army Painter Field Gray. It's like a fleshy gray brown color. It's kind of disgusting, but it works for my dirt. It's almost like a Red Planet dirt. It was 1,000 points, and it did not go well for the bugs. Points-wise, it was a 39-34 in my favor. I nearly tabled them while losing 5-lady squad of Repentia and Ignifier. My schemer works, wreaked havoc on the bugs. Yeah, I bet it did. I used to play, buddy of mine had a Adeptus test, and I remember facing off against him with the Tyranids, and they would often get wrecked. It's a pretty close scoring game, though, 39-34. Did it go all the way 5 rounds, or did you end up calling it after you tabled them? You have to mix up some more of this mixture here. Get a chunky brush for that. Bugman's Glow. We got Field Gray from Army Painter. 50-50. It was a low-scoring affair. I held back until it was safe for my sisters to advance and take more objectives. What was in the Tyranid list? Do you remember? Was it mostly monsters? Was it like a lot of gaunts? I was more of the mind that dead bugs can't score. Well, that is a very true statement. Was it a lot of new Tyranid stuff, like the stuff that you get in the Leviathan starter? Because that stuff actually isn't that great on its own. Which unfortunately a lot of new Tyranid players starting off Tyranids with that are struggling with. But I got a 1,000-point game tomorrow to make a list for still. Figure out what I'm going to do. It's an escalation league I'm playing. To do 1,000 points of Tyranids. We have a Blank Templars player, we have a Necrons player, we have an Eldar player, and we have another Tyranids player. So it should be interesting. I could go up against any of those tomorrow. I'm not sure who I'm playing. So I have to build something that's versatile. Maybe a little cheesy. I don't know. It's challenging when there's only 1,000 points. And I want to make all the lists at once. The big one with the big gun. Another medium-sized kid that I couldn't describe, but forces battle shock tests at a whim. Ah, I think that was it the Screamer Killer? The one with the outstretched arms? And then the big one is probably the Tyrannofex with the rupture cannon. It's like this long of a gun. Ours was the first game in a new crusade, so we started low. Ooh, very fun. Crusade. That is the way to play. I love crusade. We're going to be starting up a crusade, me and my group, sometime after Adepticon, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, crusade's a lot of fun. I did a crusade in 9th edition with my gaming group. Kind of led it along and you know, helped keep that going. That was a lot of fun. We actually did 2 crusades. I started with Gene Stealer Cult, and then I did Eldar. And the Gene Stealer cult was cool because the Codex came out and it had the crusade rules, so they're like overthrowing the planet, and you know, they just have like the special like progression tree that you go as they're like taking over each part of the planet that they're on, like infiltrating the military and the government and other areas of society. And then they finally have their Ascension Day, where you kind of gamble all your special Gene Stealer Cult crusade points, and you have to try to win your Ascension Day battle. And if you fail, then you have to start all over. You have to start all over again with trying to retake the planet. It's kind of funny. That's a lot of fun. The one downside with Crusade is it's a lot of bookkeeping. You have to keep track of all the kills, and yeah, my cult did not manage to overtake a planet. It was pretty funny. I pretty much spent the whole crusade building up to the point where I could have an Ascension Day, and then I failed. And then the story is they went back into hiding for some time, you know, heads hung low. And then our crusade kind of ended, and we started a new one, in which case I decided to do the Eldar that time, just to mix it up. But I'm thinking I might, you know, pull out the Gene Stealer Cult again for this upcoming crusade. Or maybe I'll run a couple armies. We'll see. But it'll give me an excuse to start building and painting more of the Gene Stealer cults I have on my pile of opportunity shelf. So they definitely need a lot of attention when painting, because that's the army I'm doing my going all out on as far as painting. So they're like showcase style. So that would make for some good Monday night painting, I think. But we'll see. I'm not fully decided. Alright, so we have the base. It's going to be drying. What can I do while it's drying? I suppose I could do the decal. We could do the shoulder pauldron decal. Are Eldar fun to play? Yes, Eldar are fun to play. They can be a little tricky because they're low toughness, but they're the definition of a glass cannon, really. Need a little finesse with them, but their movement is really good. I don't know, they're a ton of fun. I love the Eldar. Right now they're still pretty powerful, even despite their nerfs, but yeah, they're a lot of fun. You can go like really mobile, or you can kind of do a little bit more tanky with like the Wraith Guard and the Wraiths, or like even their tanks. Their tanks themselves are a little on the fragile side, but they can really dish out a lot of damage, and they're very fast and mobile, and they all fly, so that helps a lot too. I don't know, I really like the Eldar. The more I play them, the more I really enjoy them. I've been building up an Eldar collection. I have some more Eldar stuff I need to paint. Some Aspect Warriors. That's the cool thing too with Eldar is all the Aspect Warriors. So if you're kind of sick of painting the same army scheme over and over, you kind of get a break because all the Aspect Warriors have their own, you know, colors. So it kind of breaks up the mundane. Alright, so I got the decal soaking in my pan here. And gonna let that sit a minute. Then we're gonna get this on the shoulder pauldron here. And we'll seal that up. I tend to be an ABC player, so this last game was a new twist for me. Sitting back and waiting for a couple turns before committing. Yeah. Were you playing, so you're playing Crusade. So Crusade's also interesting too because the missions are not necessarily evenly balanced between the attacker and defender. You know, like I feel like some of them it's easier for the attacker to win, others for the defender to win. But then you have the whole balance of the Crusade too. You know, some army might be a little bit more experienced than yours and maybe more equipped for the mission. But then you also have your agendas that you're working towards. So you have your own little, you know, side quest going on. So if the game's not going well for you, you can at least try to still score a bunch of agenda points and, you know, make some progress for yourself that way in the long term. That's what I like about Crusade. It's not like, oh, I'm losing this game, it's all over for me. There's still something you can do long term to progress. Alright, so we're gonna get this decal on my brush ever so carefully and roll it on there. There we go. Gonna try to mop up a lot of this water. Shade brush works really well for that. Mop it up with the shade brush. Gonna try to position this center. These never want to conform to the pauldrons. We keep it simple for the first battle. Basically, the sisters had made landfall and the bugs were trying to push them back into space. I like it. Yeah, and then you get the narrative aspect too. You can kind of you know, make your own story for the battle you're about to fight, the campaign that's going on. I don't know, with the right group of players, or even a handful of players, you know, like 2 or 3, you can have a really fun crusade. I'm a huge fan. I feel like it makes it kind of it's kind of like what Warhammer's supposed to be all about, you know, telling a cool story. And like, sometimes I think the hyper competitiveness of match play gets too much attention in the meta, and you know, it kind of makes Warhammer not fun. So I'm using some technical art coat medium here to really seal this decal down. Now this is really glossy, so once this dries, I'm going to go back over with some matte varnish. Cool story. Having fun and making friends. That's right. That's what it's all about. Alright, I'm gonna try to accelerate the drying. Oh, I touched it with my thumb. That was stupid. I'm still touching it. I'll use a X-Acto knife. Let's reposition this. A little bit of water on that brush. I get really impatient with decals. I'm gonna try to speed dry this a little bit. The old hair dryer. All right, we'll let that settle for a sec, and I will carefully remove this lieutenant. What's his face? I don't have a name for him. That's okay. And I'll finish up the base here. So we'll do some Troll Slayer Orange as a dry brush. I think while going to Adepticon next year with my group from a local game store, I have doubts about doing the tournament though. Yeah. Well, they have the Long War doubles, which is supposed to be casual, but we'll see. I have a feeling that there might be some people there that are in the the real competitive tournament, and you know they end up losing, so they enter the Long Wars doubles tournament with their list, and then they just split it in half with a friend, going against some more casual folk. I could see that being not fun, but yeah, well, we'll see how it is. I know a buddy of mine did it last year. He said it was pretty fun or interesting experience. So I'm just doing some Troll Slayer Orange on the base here over the dirt. My Space Marines are on kind of a almost like a Mars-esque reddish planet base. I just think it's a really cool contrast to the blue armor. It's almost like a Starship Troopers kind of planet base. There we go, we got the dust. Well, if all goes well this year, I'll probably be going to Adepticon next year as well. It's a lot of fun. Last year I went just one day, but I'm going for a bunch of days this year. Doing a few events. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Alright, let's wash this brush off. Alrighty, so for the rim of the base, I just use Army Painter Field Gray. It's a nice greenish gray color. I have some on my palette from the other day, so I'm gonna wet that up with my brush. Hopefully I can recover it and I don't have to pour some more out. Yeah, I'll just go around. This will probably take about a coat or two to fully cover. Yeah, making some good progress on this. It's definitely going to be done in a few minutes. Just gonna glue them together. You lost me at the gray base, sir. It's field gray. It's like a greenish gray. So this color, where is it? Here we go. Field gray. Now it looks very gray here, but it's definitely got some green going on. And it, black bases give life. So, black bases are fine. I like black bases. I have some stuff with black bases. I find that this color here, I actually use this color for my Necrons, my Tyranids, and my Space Marines. And the grayish green, what it does is it almost it goes well over any battle mat you place it over, because it's very neutral and kind of like earthy tone. And what I find that it does is it works as like a nice transition piece between the battle mat texture or pattern and whatever you have your bases with. And a lot of my Tyranids are very gray, my Necrons are very gray, my Space Marines are, of course, you know, brownish red. But yeah, I see it as like a transition piece between the two patterns, and it works pretty well. I also tend to base a lot of terrain pieces with like a gray or brown, just because grayish brown, because it really looks okay on any battle mat you put it on. Gray. If God wanted the bases to be gray, he would have made the plastic gray. That's funny. To each his own, right? I get it, you know. My Eldar have a brown color base. I think I use Baneblade. For Eldar bases. I remember towards the end of Warhammer Fantasy, it was popular to do I think the color was called Graveyard Earth. Are they 50 Shades of Grey? The devil saw the apple as a transition piece. Oh, the heresy. Oh, well, look at that beautiful greenish gray base rim. I love it. That's just how it's gonna be. Alright, so the shoulder pauldron is dry-ish, so I'm gonna take some airbrush matte varnish, give that a good shake, because you can see it's pretty glossy on the shoulder pad. So I'm gonna put some of that on the palette. It works with the earth color on top. Yes, it sure does. And yeah. My Novitiate's kill team has a black rim base. My Krieg army, they have a black rim base too. So I don't just always default to the gray-green color. I just happen to really like field gray specifically, this color. I really have no preference. I've always painted mine black because that's how it was done 30 years ago. Yeah, that's fair. No, 30 years ago, they were all goblin green. I know. Alright, so now we're going to glue this guy on. I like to use the tester's glue for some of this. Yeah, goblin green. Alright, we're gonna press. I don't want to put his base back in here because this is freshly painted. It will it'll come right off. All right, so let's carefully remove the power pack. You're not old enough to have experienced that. Oh, the original black bases. Have experienced the goblin green. my old Warhammer Fantasy. A lot of them have goblin green bases. Actually, some of my original Tyranids had goblin green too. Wow, I really glued these on here. Let's oh, man. Okay. Maybe I used a little too much super glue. Yep. Alright, well, let's try to come back from this. Well, I could always just shave this down and cut off that nub. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. Yep, there it is. Yeah, we all saw that one coming a mile away. I'm okay. It's just a flesh wound. Okay. I'm more worried about getting blood on my model. Let's see here. Just gotta shave this nub down. My sub-assembly had too much super glue in it. I used paper clips that had been clipped down and glued into soda pop bottle caps. I see. Where are my clippers? Alright, this is gonna pain me a little bit, but here we go. Oh. I need more. I think I need to drill some of this out with my pin vise. I really royally screwed this up. I think these kept on coming undone from the sub-assembly, so I just loaded them up with glue. Just gonna drill this out a little bit, ever so carefully. Maybe I can cut some more out with my knife. I'm gonna cut away from me this time so I don't stab my thumb again. Not my proudest moment. I guess we have to shave off this nub here. It's Gamer right there. The more worried about messing up the mouth. Yeah. That's right. If I wanted to use blood for the blood god, I would have opened the paint pot. Just gotta touch up my mistake there, and... yeah, I think we can work with that. I'll just have to glue that on with some regular glue. This power pack, I think, also has some issues. Because this needs to fit in here like so. But there's also some unwanted sub-assembly holder in there. What have I done? Throw it in the freezer. It's supposed to be a trick. Let's see here. If I just try to force this on here, how far will it go before it stops? This has to fit on here. Oh man, this is a tight fit. I think we can make it work. Maybe? I should download that clip and make it a short. Me cutting myself. Yeah, I think I won't be able to glue that strap on perfectly, but actually no, I think that is where it's supposed to sit. Yeah, we can make that work. Let's get some glue on there. I'm just all over the place here. Okay, get a little glue on the edge of the strap. This stuff is stringy. I'm just gonna hold that on there for a little while. Let it meld. I'm not gonna worry about gluing the pack to the back pin because that's such a tight fit. It's not gonna come off really easily. So hold that like that, and then I think I can just get this other arm on here because I'm super impatient. This stuff is good for this kind of thing too because it's like a paste or like a goop, so it'll fill in the gaps. Create all these little glue hairs. I'm gonna get this out of here. All right. Yeah, I think that's the pose. I think. Is that what the lieutenant looks like? Is that what he's supposed to look like? Well, if not, we'll call it a kit bash. Yeah, a little fragile. Glue's still starting to settle, but there we go. I think we did it. The lieutenant in Phobos armor. Come on, focus, you. Looks amazing. Thank you. Get the 360 spin here. If I could get this camera to focus. There we go. Just gotta get the right distance. Yeah, gray base and all. Amazing, right? Ready to kill some bugs. I'm doing my part. Alright. Very cool. Well, I'm really happy with the way that turned out. Ultramarine blue, he needs Raven Strike or Idle Hands black. Idle Hands. Yeah. Well, that's the guy. He's done. So see, it's 8:30, so I'd only be painting for maybe a half hour more anyways. Iron idle. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So I'd only be painting a half hour more if I were to continue, so I think I'm just going to call it a shorter stream today. We wrapped up the Lieutenant, and I'll be back next week with a new model, since this is now officially done, and I'll see you then. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Stay tuned. There's a new video coming out later this week, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that's all I got. So y'all have a lovely evening, and thanks for hanging out with me.